Don't worry, I did not abandon this video series so soon. Don't panic, I'm still uploading. But honestly, this video would not exist if it weren't for this one series of clips that I caught when I was playing Jailbreak. Giant warning for spicy takes ahead, so if you don't like that kind of stuff, click off immediately. So I'm on my merry way, just getting done with a CEO boss fight, and I get camped by cops. And for any ordinary Jailbreak player, you'll probably exit the robbery just to get yourself arrested inevitably. But I am no ordinary Jailbreak player, so I decide to just sit and wait there. This is what I usually do when people are camping the mansion, because eventually they'll just get so bored they'll leave, which I think is very funny. But this bunch of cops were very, very persistent and decided to wait and wait and wait there, just as I did. And that is one of my main problems with the philosophy of camping. It is so excruciatingly boring that I genuinely do not get how people find enjoyment out of camping whatsoever. Because like I said before, all you're doing is sitting and waiting. I don't think I can be called crazy for thinking that that is not fun at all. And I can already hear the symphony of people saying that I have a skill issue and that I'm bad at the game, but my criticism for camping being boring comes from the perspective of being a cop, because it's just boring. The only real valuable element that I see people getting from camping is the strategical element behind camping. Because I can already see people saying that my criticism for camping can be applied to something like chess, because a lot of what you're doing in chess is sitting and waiting to see what your opponent is gonna do. Because in a lot of robberies, when you're camping, you need to optimize what you do, and you need to strategize for what the criminal is gonna do, what exit is he gonna take. But in summary, that's really all there is to it. It's very binary, because really the only thing you're doing is predicting what exit the criminal is going to take. These things apply to the jewelry store, the mansion, the museum, the casino, the power plant, and sometimes the bank. Just robberies that are very stationary. And really the only way that I see cop gameplay overall being engaging is engaging with the gameplay. You know, stuff like cop chases, chasing after criminals on foot, shooting, combat, whatever, whatnot. Those are things that I actually consider engaging gameplay for cops, and though they might not be that fun, I think it is infinitely better than the camping playstyle. Because that's what camping is, a playstyle. You are completely allowed to do this pretty much anywhere you see to it. And you know, anyone can say what they want about the actual people that do camp, but if you want to put it in something like, I don't know, fighting game terminology, there's something called scrubs. The term scrub has a wide variety of definitions across the gaming community, but for the sake of this video, a scrub is pretty much someone who is at a very low skill level and decides to use a quote-unquote scrubby tactic, which is basically a very simple strategy that they decide to abuse throughout the entire game, and it's very not fun to play against them. Some examples in fighting games include projectiles, blocking, throwing the opponent repeatedly, and you don't even need to look that far because there are some other scrubby tactics in Jailbreak. For example, a lot of glitches are scrubby tactics. Things like invisibility glitches, the snowman glitch from way back when, the volt bike glitch, and even the CEO glitch. Yeah, you really get to see the picture now. I consider camping to be one of these very scrubby tactics. So I suppose it's quite ironic that people say that me criticizing camping is purely because of a skill issue, but in reality, I think that the campers have a skill issue themselves. However, that is not the only things I have to say about camping, because oh my god, do I have much more. Because another one of my big gripes is that camping is rewarded big time. It is so easy to get arrests and high bounties when you're camping that it's honestly absurd for how unengaging the gameplay is. Because, for example, if someone is robbing the power plant, in power plant robbers, for example, I've seen are very high-level players and they normally have high bounties, you can camp the shit out of them. And when cop gameplay overall is maybe tasing someone and holding E to arrest them, you can rack up so much dough. Because, at least from what I've heard, playing as a cop lends you so much more profit than playing as an ordinary criminal. And when criminals have much more fun gameplay than cops, and when camping is the most abhorrent and boring gameplay style of cops overall, that's just straight up bad. Because I feel like the best way to play Jailbreak is to have as much fun as possible. I mean, that's the entire reason why we play video games, right? But when camping rewards so much more than actually having fun with the game, that is not good game design. And another thing that I can see people saying in response to this video is that a lot of the robberies are designed with camping in mind. And you know what? You're right. Robberies like the jewelry store, the mansion, the museum, the power plant, and the tomb are all robberies that are built with camping in mind. And I guess for these robberies, camping really is the only thing you can do against criminals. And I absolutely hate that the only thing you can do in these robberies as a cop is just sit there and wait, not engage with the gameplay whatsoever, and just be locked to this very mundane and boring gameplay style. That, my friends, is what you call shitty slop game design. And I think this issue just kind of stems from how boring cop gameplay is in general. Because I feel like if you wanted to devise a way to prevent camping in all robberies, that would require you to rethink the entirety of the cop team. An idea I've had for a while is to just make arresting not so simple. Perhaps if you thought about it like Jailbreak has done so many times before and just took notes from Fortnite of all things, maybe you could introduce some sort of knockdown system so that cops actually have to engage with the game's combat, to where if a criminal was brought down to 0 HP, they would be knocked down instead of dying, and they would only be arrestable if they were knocked down. And maybe the taser could be worked into this new system to where if a cop hit a criminal with the taser, the criminal would be instantly knocked down, making room for an easy arrest. And ooh, here's a fun idea. If a criminal is on low HP, they would be tased for longer. So maybe if a criminal on full HP were to be tased, they could actually have an opportunity to get away. So you might actually think to whittle down the criminal's health first before you actually tase them, and that'll make way for some interesting combat encounters, make room for some gameplay depth. And I preface that I am not a game designer at all. I have no idea if my ideas would actually work in-game. These are just my ideas with the goal in mind of alleviating camping because it sucks. I know that this video isn't really gonna do that well in terms of audience reception because people that are very outward with their potent thoughts about camping are just kind of ridiculed in the community. I mean, hell, I was once very vocal about my thoughts about camping on the Jailbreak subreddit, and I got downvoted to oblivion, and I got suspended, so that's just great. And I want to make it 1,000,000,000% clear in this video that this video is not meant to attack people that actually do camp. This video's sole purpose is to express my own thoughts and opinions and shed some light on some gameplay grievances that I have. If you camp, more power to you. I can't do anything about it. I just wanted to express my opinions about the gameplay issues and philosophy of camping in general. And before anyone says it, well, probably someone has said it, but I do prevent camping. I do everything in my own ability to prevent myself from being a victim of camping. Oh, well, who am I kidding? These issues are never gonna be resolved anytime soon because camping is just kind of in this game's DNA at this point. One last thing I want to point out is the justification for camping because it is kind of stupid. I'm not that sure if I can pull out any receipts for this, but I do vividly remember Asimo responding to someone that was clamoring for camping to have some kind of prevention, and his response was that camping is actually a real-life strategy that cops use against criminals. This is a video game. Like, I get what he's saying, and I guess that kind of fit for what the game was going for, because back then, Jailbreak did have kind of a more realistic tone to it, but now, it feels more like a video game than it has ever felt like ever. So I don't really understand his thought process when I've listed so many problems related to camping, but I guess we'll just have to wait until a spiritual successor to Jailbreak comes around to maybe address these issues, but I'm not really sure that's ever gonna happen, but I'm holding on to hope. Thank you so much for watching up to this point of the video, and if you have, and you still want to say that I have a skill issue, maybe grab a few s'mores and rewatch the video, because clearly you did not pay attention, you fucking camper.
Why is it tiny things are scary? Hey! Yeah, check your closet, make sure R. Kelly isn't in there.